instead of men, women were inherently physically stronger, how would society change? Pickle jar role reversal. The saying "you punch like a girl" would go from an insult to a compliment. Death by snoo snoo? It'd be like that one episode of Star Trek TNG when they go to that women planet and Riker boinks the president of the club. Stinky diaper, Commander Riker. Together we are like crab, I am the power claw, she is the dexterity claw. If you reverse the roles, together we are like crab. I am the dexterity claw, she is the power claw. Together we are like crab. Reversal of roles and power, that's about it. Would love mommy to choke me. I could charge money for my nudes. The first US president would be General Georgia Washington. And Chesty Puller would still be the most badass female Marine. If Trump is arrested, how do you think his supporters will react? I expect to hear several mentions of Hunter Biden's laptop. Lots of social media posts with excellent punctuation, factual information. Not sure, but I feel like we'll finally get a true understanding of what the battery life on a rascal scooter is. This was his plan all along, it's part of 100-dimensional chess, it's also that the other guy can get really arrested. I expect them to let the judicial process play out and hold off on any highly emotional response until the case has concluded and prosecutors have had an opportunity to explain their side of the story. After all, Trump supporters are famous for being calm, well-informed, and level-headed. If you could place any object on the surface of Mars, purely to confuse NASA scientists, what would it be? A fully crewed by preserved corpses, skeletons of course Viking longship. A big map of Earth with several points of interest marked on it. A white plastic lawn chair. The missing pieces of the Rosetta Stone. I'm a geologist, and I can confirm that just placing the wrong type of rock would fuck up science for like 30 years. I often pick up rocks that I know only occur in specific areas and leave them somewhere that would be naturally impossible in the hope that it will break a geochemist's mind when they find it. Liquid water in a mason jar. A page from a Martian newspaper, pondering the possibility that there might be life on Earth. Taking notes. Soviet-era spacesuit with a skeleton. An exact copy of the Mars rover or whatever they used to discover it. Statue of Liberty half buried in the ground. Simple, velociraptor skeletons in a space shuttle. In huge corporations you often find people who have jobs that basically do almost nothing but aren't noticed by their higher-ups. What examples have you seen of this? I knew a guy who would go to meetings. About a dozen a month. And all he'd do is open a little notebook and take notes. When I asked him what he was doing, he said my job is to take notes and that's it. I asked where he put the notes and he said he put them in a little folder in his office and they haven't been touched in 15 years. I work for a big corporation, and there are several groups that have a layer of middle management where their only purpose is to consolidate information provided by lower levels and present that information to upper levels. Men of Reddit, what would be your response to a guy who suddenly starts flirting with your girl? Went out with another couple. Walking through an area filled with bars, we hear some guys catcalling our lady friend. Something along the lines of "You're so hot, I would give it to you," and her boyfriend replies back, "And nothing for me. He's got great taste and I hope he's got thick skin." I'd step in and say something. Not because I feel I need to or because my wife can't handle herself, but because I know her and she likes the feeling of being looked after. I know this because she's told me. Nothing, she is beautiful and I get it. When she shoots them down and they keep trying is when I would step in because it's harassment at that point and that is a problem. She's a grown-up. She can respond to his flirting herself. SHHHHH, SHHHH, watch this. People who don't reply until days later, why? It's usually because I read the message while I'm doing something that I can't reply in that moment, and then I literally just forget. Ironically, it's because I often try to be thoughtful in my responses. Sometimes I will read a message and I won't have the will or time to give it the thought or depth that it requires, so I'll put it off to when I can really think about it. Oftentimes it slips my mind because my working memory is kind of trash. Some days I don't feel like talking to people. The comments on this one should be empty until a couple of days from now. I reply to them in my brain and forget to reply them in real life. Sometimes I just truly don't know what to reply to you. Just because technology has gotten to the point where you can reach someone instantly does not mean that person has a responsibility to instantly respond. Edit because I don't want to. Executive dysfunction. People who lived in 70s, 80s, 90s, what was it really like? I was a high schooler from 94-98. There was an innocence in the 90s we don't have anymore. We were a bit more naive. It was assumed everything was getting progressively better. That era ended on 9/11 and it still makes me sad thinking about what we lost. After SNL was over at midnight, Monty Python was on PBS. There was nothing worthwhile to keep my brother and me up after that, so there was no reason to stay up past 12:30. Jesus Christ, I have become a historical reference. Things got appreciably better after the USSR fell. There used to be armed bombers flying around the clock, ready to attack, and I remember when they landed and didn't go back up. It was almost like there was a real sense of relief when the wall fell. There was hope, you know? Redditors who don't drink alcohol, what are your reasons for not drinking? I'm a recovering alcoholic. So there's that. Growing up, I was surrounded by alcohol-fueled violence. I decided at 11 I would never drink. Save for the odd sip of Southern Comfort as a teen, to this day I still don't drink. I'm 43 now. My dad is an alcoholic. I'm afraid to be on. Every time I drink my mood is screwy the next day. I'm guessing it interferes with my sleep or something, but the end result is that I drink very rarely. I prefer the feeling of staying sober. I was a social drinker, I no longer socialize. Sleep. If I have as little as 1 glass of wine, I do not sleep well and I wake up early. When you have kids, you need all the sleep you can get. I already can't control myself sober. I see what it does to people. Salt and pepper needs to be said in that order. What other things have a specific order they should be said in your opinion? Safe and sound. Macaroni cheese. Fish and chips. Peanut butter and jelly. Cock and balls. English actually has adjective word order, but we don't learn it in school because most native English speakers do it naturally. For example, we would say that's a big red car. We would never say that's a red big car. Gin tonic. Sugar spice. Part of this is the linguistic oddity of ablaut reduplication. If you repeat words with a change in the vowel sound, they always go in the order IAO. For example, Kong King is wrong but King Kong is right. Zag Zig is wrong but Zigzag is right. Bells ring ding dong, never dong ding. Horses clip clop, they don't clop clip. There are a few other rules of this kind that nobody really talks about but everybody follows. Serious, what's something that mentally and or emotionally broke you? Filing my dad's bankruptcy, getting him diagnosed for early onset Alzheimer's dementia, and being his primary caregiver. It completely reverses the father-son role in a way I was not prepared for. Better now, but still is heartbreaking. Having a mother with schizophrenia. Such a tough illness for someone to experience, and tough on a family. Finding my twin brother dead. Hearing my mom ask if it was going to hurt to die. Few minutes later she took her last breath. Squeezed my hand in a slow release. Am I okay? Nah. A year and a half later I'm still not. When I found my fiancé dead on the ground after I came home from work. I was 22 at the time and it broke me in all the ways. Should the government provide free education? Why? Didn't we have this discussion a couple centuries ago? After trying it without free education for a few eons? And it didn't work well? So we offer it as part of normal society now, for free? It's like UN inventing the wheel. Been there, done that, realized it did work, so now we make sure everyone gets a basic education. Government is supposed to be there for the benefit of society, and society benefits if a lot of it is educated past the stage of absolute ignorance. The education of the child, or the ignorance of the man. For one or the other I am obliged to pay. And I definitely prefer the former. Many poor students who receive free education are able to break out of poverty by finding better jobs and earning higher salaries over time. How is a country supposed to compete on a global stage if the younger generations are ill-equipped?
What is your best financial life hack? Just drink water. And install Grubhub and DoorDash from your phone. I don't smoke or drink. Saves me a lot of money. Automate your savings to pay yourself first. Act like you always broke. Make an actual budget and stick to it. Every time you get a raise, hide it, increase your 401k contribution, or put it into an IRA, or invest in stock, or just put it aside in savings. In other words, don't get used to a higher level of consumption. This is especially important when you're young. Live below your means. Wearing a condom every time I have sex, granted, it comes out to about $1 for each one, but having a kid seems way more expensive.
What are some of the biggest scams to have happened in history? Ticketmaster. Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme. The price of printer ink. College textbooks. We'll sell it to you for $100, buy it back for $10, and sell it again as used for $75. The Church of Scientology. Fake selling of Eiffel Tower. Twice. Tulips in the Netherlands in the 16th century. There was a point at which one tulip bud cost as much as a good house. I dunno, but I can for sure give you a complete list of scams to avoid for the low price of $100. Bottled water. Research suggests that for most Americans, the stuff in a bottle is not better for you than the stuff in your tap. In fact, a recent report found that almost half of all bottled water is actually derived from the tap, but may be further processed or tested for safety. 300% profit for a natural resource in plastic bottle.
What are you starting to dislike more as you get older? The fact that I'm continuing to get older, but my brain still thinks that my body is still in my mid-20s. Realizing I'm the oldest person in a group. I'm in my 70s and it's the best time of my life. Almost everything I used to dislike, I can easily avoid now. Everything's slowly evolving into a subscription service. Even heated seats are getting those FFs. That my parents are also getting older and the fear of losing them soon terrifies me. Dating when I was 20. It was fun. Take 10 minutes to get ready and have a good time. Now that I'm older, it's a whole ordeal and feels more like a job interview.
What do you miss about the COVID lockdowns? The giant parking lot across my condo was always empty because it was for a gym that shut down. I could rollerblade there any time of day and it was completely safe. No traffic. My life didn't change at all during, but man was my commute to work better. As a nurse who didn't get to stay home, no traffic and cheap gas. Silence. Just bird singing. No human noises. I actually saved a lot of money. I actually saw my friends more since we were video chatting in groups a lot. Staying at home without making up excuses. Absolutely loved being able to spend my dog's last year with her. Quality time we wouldn't have had. What instantly comes to mind when you hear China? Donald Trump saying China. Chinese food. Panda. Made in. Noodle soups on cold mornings. I lived there for a year, so first and foremost, being stared at and being uncomfortable. Being a walking zoo exhibit isn't fun. Phenomenal food, great people, cheeky motherfuckers with a fun sense of humor, weird propaganda slogans everywhere that people largely ignore. Laowa. Tanks squishing protesters. Pandas chowing on bamboo. Three Kingdoms. Chic Kitty China, the Chinese chicken. All you can eat buffet. Bing chilling soft ice cream. That image of Xi as Winnie the Pooh. Fine China. What instantly ruins a burger for you? I once ordered a breakfast burger that was advertised as having, among other toppings, egg. I imagine a nice fried egg or at least a scrambled egg patty of sorts. No, the monstrosity that came out had a quartered, hard-boiled egg on it. Just terrible. What self-respecting chef would serve that? When the patty slips out the other side. Watery old lettuce. One time I got a burger with terrible lettuce. It tasted like it came straight out of a lake. From then I avoid that place saying they have lake lettuce lol. Wet unto asked bun. Poor construction. When it flies out the other end. Stick everything together with a blob of sauce. People that want to talk while I'm eating a burger. Being too big to fit in your mouth. Pointless. Might as well just throw it all on a plate, and call it deconstructed burger. Excessive height.
What is a subtle sign that someone is a good person? Genuinely happy when good things happen to other people, even when they don't get why it's a good thing or if it was something they also wanted. If you catch them secretly doing something generous, that's usually something only a person with honorable motives will do. When people do genuinely nice things without expecting a reward or recognition for it, they say nice things about others behind their backs.
What is something you find super easy to do, that other people find hard or tricky? Using the turn signal when driving. Retaining almost useless information but forgetting important things. Falling asleep. Google. Sounds like it'd be something easy to do, but apparently not. I can fold a fitted sheet like a boss. Minding my own business. To not interrupt people when they are talking, active listening. Speaking in front of large groups, crowds. Do you remember those find the difference games, puzzles in newspapers or magazines? People take time in finding the little differences in pictures, meanwhile I just cross my eyes to overlap the images and then the differences are super apparent, like I can find 20 differences in 10 seconds. I'm fucking ace at parallel parking. Being alone. I know the difference between lonely and being alone. I know I am an introvert and live a happy life. What is the biggest unsolved mystery in human history? So the monarch butterfly migrates to Mexico and back every year. During the year there are a full 4 generations of butterflies that live and die during the journey. Upon returning back from Mexico, the butterfly manages to find the same trees its relatives started out at despite never having been there. An active one in the archaeology world is the exact time frame of when humans made it to the Americas. The date keeps getting pushed back with more controversial discoveries that then just turn to evidence as they pile up. It's a fascinating story to see unfold. We like to think we understand the universe and that physics is a well-grounded discipline, and in some ways it is. However, we have no idea what dark matter or dark energy is, and yet we think it makes up 27 and 68 of the universe respectively. In Australia, in 2011, Someone broke into a TV station and spent 4 hours flushing $100,000 down the toilet. What is the world's worst country to live in? Mauritania. Legit real-life slavery happens. Not hidden away slavery, slave markets slavery. Burundi is the world's poorest country when its GDP is measured per capita based on PPP purchasing power parity. President Pierre Nkurunziza has made jogging an illegal activity since 2014. He said that people could use it as a cover for planning anti-government rebellions. Some years ago I met a guy from New Zealand who told me a story of how he went on vacation to one of the Oceania island states and saw a sign saying, "If you leave the road you will be raped." I nominate that country. If you look at the travel guide for Somalia, I would go with that one. Designate someone as your hostage negotiator. Somalia no government since the 90s. Warlords ruling parts of the country. What is your first impression when you hear someone saying I go to therapy? Bro, that person trusts me enough to open up about it. I feel honored. Good for them. This person is trying to better themselves and or an aspect of their life. Good job. So much better that hearing I have all of this pain buried deep inside and I refuse to speak to a therapist. Me too, I go to therapy too. I like PPL who take care of themselves. Better than the toxic people who go around hurting others. Edit an award. Heavy black heart, heavy black heart, heavy black heart, heavy black heart, heavy black heart. Thank you so much, kind internet stranger. I'm just trying to do my best as a human, and I appreciate other humans too as we embrace our imperfections. I'm glad people are working on themselves. Mild jealousy. I say, sir, this is a Wendy's. Okay. What is your first thought about someone when they have a Confederate flag sticker on their car? That it is a weird thing to do here in Germany. As an Australian I am often confused because there really are fucktard Aussies who do this. Little anecdote: in the 90s, NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt put a Southern Pride sticker on his personal pickup, which had a Confederate flag in its design. When one of his employees, an African American woman, saw it, she told him it made her uncomfortable. His reaction? He immediately apologized, looked for a razor blade and scraped it off his truck. I loathe seeing it in my home state of MN. The 1st Minnesota Infantry Regiment had an 82 casualty rate in Gettysburg. Do not engage. Missouri was not even part of the Confederacy, dumbass. For reference, I live in MO, and they are all over down here. What kids show was so good when you were little that you could watch every episode again as an adult? Wishbone. Looney Tunes. I still laugh my off watching them. Batman the Animated Series. All the Roadrunner Coyote tunes. The Rube Goldberg inventions the Coyote come up with still make me laugh. They had to be half drunk when they came up with those. Gargoyles. DuckTales 1987. Are you afraid of the dark? Probably showing my age here, but there was a show in the UK back in the early 90s called Count Duckula. As a kid it was enjoyable, but some of the jokes went over my head. Your cousin lives in Spain, M. Lord. He's sure to give us a warm welcome. Oh, he's a friendly kind of guy? No, M. Lord, he's a pyromaniac. Recess. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Animaniacs. Hey Arnold. The Muppet Show and Fraggle Rock. Teen Titans.
What makes you instantly dislike a teacher? When they take pride of the high failure rate in their classes. Whenever they seem to not really understand what they're teaching. Hearing, I don't give out A's, no matter how good your work is. Lack of enthusiasm and poor communication skills. More interest in throwing their power around than actually teaching. When they failed you because you said something they didn't like. When they start talking about themselves arrogantly. Tying in their political beliefs to every assignment. When they make fun of someone who's asking questions not understanding. When they are disrespectful to students who don't deserve it. Damn, this thread makes me feel like I'm a way better teacher than I thought, lol. What movie did you expect to be bad but was actually good? Eurotrip. Thought it was going to be yet another of a million stupid teen comedies. And it was. But it was actually really, really funny. Hot Tub Time Machine, the most ridiculous premise, but hilariously done. Great cast. Cubo and the Two Strings took the kids to the cinema on a family cheap Saturday morning showing. The films are usually dumb. This was fantastic. The plot is so-so, but the animation and storytelling is absolutely beautiful. The unbearable weight of massive talent. I had low expectations and thought that Pedro would not be able to save the train wreck. He did save it, and more. What movie was far better than it had any right to be? Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Tremors, it hits all the right note for a monster movie without any of the annoying tropes. The Lego movie should have been total garbage. or at best, mediocre. The fact that it wasn't, and was actually pretty brilliant, still stuns me. The original Little Shop of Horrors has a Rotten Tomatoes rating of 92 even though the interiors were shot in 2 days and the film had a budget of about $30,000. Pirates of the Caribbean. Let's be honest. I think when everyone heard that Disney was making a movie based on a ride, most people thought it would suck.
What screams I'm homophobic? My dad after a few drinks lol. An extroverted homophobe. I don't care if someone is homo or whatever. But I'll tell you what, if you ever tell me you're gay you'd be out of this house so fast. Edit spelling correction. A guy at my work was complaining that the procedure for if there's a tornado and you're in the field or a trailer, is to all link up and hold hands while you walk to a building that could provide proper shelter. Had a CO worker that refused to walk into a bar with any other male, because people might think we're gay. Besides that, he had other problems. He told another friend of mine he was planning on getting the cutie they had met totally wasted and banging her while she out, not realizing my really big friend was her uncle. Uncle told him he wouldn't live long if he didn't leave immediately. Wanting a gay BFF but being uncomfortable with the idea of a lesbian friend. What seems harmless but is actually incredibly dangerous. Having a loose animal in the car. A safety instructor once told me doctors had to dig dog bones out of a person after it got between them and an airbag. Putting your feet on car dashboard. Colorful and pretty wildlife you're unfamiliar with. If you wouldn't eat a berry you're unfamiliar with, why would you pick up an animal you're unfamiliar with? Pool covers. It's like being wrapped in a bedsheet underwater. You cannot get free and you cannot scream for help. Once you're in, the only way to get out is to be incredibly lucky and get free, or have faith that someone saw or heard you fall in and hope that they get you in time. It's a lengthy, terrifying death that's completely avoidable. Tired driving is as dangerous as drinking and driving. A patch of calm, smooth ocean between sections that look rough. Garage springs and hippos. What slang term are dead giveaway to where you are you from? Yeah, I'll read pet. I don't know about yins, but unlike the jagoffs in the comments, I definitely don't live in an area with a dialect. Cunt or un depending on where you're reading from. Making groceries. Wicked sma aaa. Edit disclaimer, no one actually says this but I feel like it's the most well-known dead giveaway lol. What's the crate kid? Slang? Nah, Philly doesn't have any of that John. In it. Ob. Steamed hams. It's an Albany expression. Bless your her is their hard s. It's not so much street language, but a common saying. Hella. Tabernac. Cheat yet? It's brick outside. Dead ass. Nair yet, right? Anyway, let me get an HXP on a hard roll and an AZ iced tea. All lekker. What video game have you played the most? Probably Skyrim. The Civilization series for sure. OS RuneScape probably overall. Although there's a lot of hours in Halo and Destiny. Age of Empires 2. On and off for 20 years. World of Warcraft, by far. Minecraft. Dota 2, Counter-Strike. A tie between Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Witcher 3. GTA San Andreas. Either Stardew Valley or Skyrim. I've put 2,000 hours into both games. Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. NGL probably Mario Party 7. Battlefield 1 for a year or so I was one on the global leaderboard for cavalry lance usage because I was obsessed. Skyrim it's just so huge and chill, it's like a place to go to get away for a while, enjoy nice scenery and music, and kill stuff. What video games make you very nostalgic? Spyro the Dragon. Even the music has been etched in my brain. GTA Vice City. Summer holidays turn on the PC, and just playing without worrying about future. Life was good. Crash Bandicoot, one of the first games I had on the PS2, used to play it for hours. Morrowind, I started playing it in middle school and have always loved the open world and limitless possibilities. I actually just started playing again. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. My friends and I would get home from school, play THPS2 at my place until our other friends arrived and then go skateboarding until dark before returning to play more THPS2. Need for Speed Underground 2 Riders on the Storm still slaps. AoE 2. Ocarina of Time. Roller Coaster Tycoon. Fable. Any N64 game. Lego Star Wars. What yells I have no life. Starting workplace drama. Making multiple accounts on any social media platform and having conversations with yourself. 50 million power on Rise of Kingdoms. Being way too invested in what other people are doing and judging them for it with no good reason. Having so much time backstabbing and gossiping about people who are not even doing anything wrong to you. Coming up to your job on your off day to socialize. Too caught up in other people's. I completed One Piece in just 1 month. Easy answer. Pretending you do have one. It's actually hard work watching people unable to live in the moment. Being a Reddit mod and thinking it's a legitimate job. If you're willing to make a big deal at a place of business with someone just trying to do their job. Looking through this thread and seeing if any answers apply to you. What's a cover song that's better than the original? Respect song by Aretha Franklin, originally by Otis Redding. All Along the Watchtower, Hendrix. Bang Bang My Baby Shot Me Down by Nancy Sinatra is way better than the original from Cher. Torn by Natalie Imbruglia. Tainted Love by Soft Cell. Man of Constant Sorrow by the Soggy Bottom Boys. From Oh Brother Where Art Thou? The Animals cover of House of the Rising Sun and They Might Be Giants cover of Istanbul Not Constantinople. Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers. Susie and the Banshees cover of The Passenger. Adds a fantastic energy to the song. I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett vs the original by The Arrows. Holding Out for a Hero by Jennifer Saunders. Nirvana Where Did You Sleep Last Night lead belly cover. Johnny B. Good Chuck Berry. The original version is performed by Marty McFly in 1955 at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance.
What's a film that everyone should watch at least once? Schindler's List. Requiem for a Dream, but exactly once, never again. Wall-E. Children of Men. Grave of the Fireflies, once and never again. Law Confidential. Usual Suspects. Spirited Away. Say 7N. Old Boy Original. Goodfellas. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. The Shawshank Redemption. Saving Private Ryan. Gladiator. Dogma. Tombstone. The entire cast is great, but Val Kilmer takes it to a whole different level as Doc Holliday. Good Will Hunting. Pulp Fiction.
What's a modern-day poison people willingly ingest? This shit. Those shorts videos that now are almost in every platform. If you have problems with focus and getting shit done, then you know that if you keep watching them you might end up in the next day without even realizing you haven't done anything yet. 24-hour news cycle. Sips coffee, takes bong hit, doom scrolls Reddit. Fuck, I can't think of any. Social media. I'm gonna say vaping. I knocked it on the head as my New Year's resolution. First time I've been completely nicotine free, and still going strong, but I genuinely felt like I was about to cough my lungs up about 90 of the time vaping. If I have to be honest, I don't miss either, but I started vaping to stop smoking. I hate seeing young kids and teens do it, ones who wouldn't have even considered smoking.
What's a phrase that shitty people use? Do you know who I am? Like it matters. You made me hit you. It's just a prank, bro. Some guy fucked me over at work and I checked him for it. His response, I guess there's a little devil in all of us. I shoulda hit him. Do you know who my dad is? Only God can judge. Now bitch, I'm judging you pretty hard. It's my truth. We work hard and we play hard. We are constantly stressed and everyone's an alcoholic. You're an inspiration. You're so inspiring to disabled and or chronically ill people just trying to live their dang lives.
What's an unwritten rule about the road that new drivers should know? Assume everyone else is an idiot. Don't be nice, be predictable. What this means is, don't slam on your brakes to let someone else go, drive predictably. The car with the most duct tape has the right of way. Merging onto a highway interstate should be a very active process. Try to match the speed of traffic and fit into an open slot. Don't slow down to a crawl and wait for a wide berth. Always leave yourself a way out. Always know what's around you, know what cars are behind you or in the lane next to you. That way, if you feel you have to change lanes quickly, you know whether you can or can't. Green means legal, not safe. Assume everyone is a moron trying to crash into you. If it's raining, put your goddamn lights on. No matter the time of day. Don't hang out in my blind spot, either speed up and pass me, or slow down a bit.
What's something that offends you and you keep having to deal with it? Ick if this considers offending, but people in groups taking the whole damn sidewalk, people blocking the damn elevator, like, bro, let me get out first. I used to be people pleaser, and when I learned how to say no and to set boundaries, people didn't take it well. I've been called selfish and self-centered. Litter, no matter how much I tidy it up, there's always fucking more. People are bloomin' disgusting. When other people are allowed to be mean, rude, ridiculous, unhinged, etc., but knew I've got to take the high road. In other words, my mill.
What's the best response to go to hell? I can't go to hell. I'm all out of vacation days. See you there. Why would I go home with you? Again? K. I'm already there. Hell yeah, I am takes them off guard. Bonus if you do finger guns. Oh yeah? Well, the jerk store called and they're running out of you. I have no interest in your mother nor her bed, sir. I'm gay, so usually people tell me to go to hell for this. So I always respond, will all the gay will be there? Yes, big party. I've been there, thank you, I found it quite lovely. Lead on, Lucifer. Right after you. I've already been to New Jersey, it ain't that bad. That isn't a very nice thing to say. Came back already, and Satan asks, what's taking you so long? The response to anything like this is simply K. Home sweet home. What's the hardest thing for you to comprehend about the American culture? Entree means main course. This one threw my fiancé the first time he came over here. Prescription drug culture and how prevalent it is. He was baffled at how insane our commercials are, to be able to just sell drugs to you basically off the TV and let you figure out if you need them. Americans love French fries, cheese, and gravy, but Powton never took off south of the border. Always found that odd. Having to tip almost everywhere. It definitely makes sense at some places, but feel like we have to tip at the most random of places these days. You Americans seem to have both the smartest and the stupidest humans on earth coexisting in your country. Zero tolerance rule. Who came up with that shit? The victim is the one who is fucked. Either he gets bullied or he gets a penalty for defending himself. Hearing the bald eagle screech every time I unwrap a slice of American cheese. Which actor do you despise so much that you won't watch a movie with them in it? Andy Dick. Never liked him. Super annoying and he's not a good human being. Steven Seagal. Talks shit, can't act. It used to be Kevin Bacon after seeing The River Wild. He played such a good piece of shit I couldn't watch a film with him for 10 or so years without hating him. If you're reading this, sorry Kevin, you are a master of your craft. I cannot watch anything with Jennifer Lopez in it. Even before reading about how she treats people, I could never find her sympathetic, even in light-hearted comedies. She gives off threatening bully energy and that just evaporates anything funny or relatable. Which cancelled TV show deserved another season? Probably anything cancelled by Netflix. Venture Brothers. This may seem a bit childish, but Teen Titans. The original one from 2003. Rome. Pushing Daisies. Almost Human with Carl Urban, was so good what it got. Dead Like Me. Loved the humor and the concept. Farscape. But at least we got the mini-series to finish the story. Reaper absolutely loved that shit. Oh, and Firefly, but everyone says that. John Constantine. Freaks and Geeks. One season was not enough. Jericho. Ash vs Evil Dead. Which genre of music do you loathe? Primary school recorder ensembles. Overplayed radio music. Even a good song can be a hammer to your sanity when it's overplayed on the radio. Novelty Christmas songs where they replace the lyrics with animal noises, meow meow meow, bark bark bark, meow meow, bark bark, woof. Schlager. I got no equivalent in English for it, but imagine if someone who did low effort, shallow, cheesy feel-good jingles for advertisement decided to do at least 3 minutes of it to entertain a beer hall full of retirees. Don't know the exact name of this genre, but the we're popping bottles all night pop. Best example is the recent remake cover of I'm Blue. A lot of these TikTok songs are just so formulaic. Almost to the point where I can practically guarantee they have a family member who works for a label. I don't hate any genre, but my least favorite is probably Christian pop because that has the least substance to me. Songs specifically made for TikTok. Which profession attracts the worst kinds of people? Pyramid scheme property agents. Hollywood producer, it seems. Over and over and over. Reality TV. The executives that run MLMs. Paparazzi. Okay, so not really a profession, but there is a certain subset of musicians who are also wannabe influencers, particular people who are very on Twitter. So backstabby and cloud hungry. I thought I wanted to be an architect, but then I met a bunch of architects. And architecture students. And architecture professors. And they were pretty much all assholes. It was weird. I mean, how could it be so consistent? But there you have it. Judging by the comments. There are just shitty people everywhere. Who'd have thought?
Which show has the best pilot episode? Lost. Arrested Development. I think Futurama's pilot is pretty perfect. Dairy Girls. Twin Peaks. That 70s show four-man stealing for warm beers from Red and Kitty's party. The Walking Dead has one of the best pilots first seasons of all time. It falls off slowly at season 2, and there's more and more drawn out and repetitive. But man, that show was amazing in the beginning. Battlestar Galactica, I was hooked after the pilot. Person of interest. Mad Men, the ending when you find out Don is married and lives in the suburbs is great. The Boys. Modern Family has a good one. Invincible. Ozark. Chernobyl.
You are now the president of the world somehow, what will be your first order? Put toilet water on the plants. Cheeseburger and fries. Ian McDiarmid must reprise his role as Pal Patton for a MT Do commercial in which he implores a kid to do it when the kid is deciding which drink to grab from the cooler at a store. Uploading fake PNGs is now a death sentence. Everyone be quiet for 15 minutes so I can think, damn it. Everyone chill the F out. Hire someone to assassinate myself. I'd quit, fuck it. Execute Order 66. Invent oatmeal that floats, called float meal. Get the greatest minds in the world in a room, construct an action plan to do a thorough analysis of the state of the world. Run projections. Then analyze the situation as it is. I'm far too naive to take any action without having better information. Information is the key. You find a wallet with $300 in it. What do you find in the wallet that makes you keep the money? A piece of paper with keep the $300 written on it. My cards and ID making me realize it's my wallet that I've dropped. My ID card. If there is no way of identifying the owner. The ID of someone who owes me $300. My driver's license. $300. A Sam's Club card. Costco gang represent. One of those fake bills that are actually little pamphlets with Bible verses on them. No ID. A KKK membership card. David Duke's driver's license. A swastika because fuck Nazis. It's a Confederate flag wallet. I'd return it all. I don't need the money and I like living an honest life. If that person had $300 it could be all the cash they have left. A law may be passed that only allows a 32-hour work week in America. How do you feel about this? Correction, it would consider 32 hours full-time for the purposes of health insurance, overtime, etc. Workers will not be limited to working just 32 hours a week. Edit correction to my correction, 30 hours is already good for health insurance, etc. but this would start overtime at hour 33. No chance it passes. I think it would be great to get paid more per hour and only work 32 hours a week, however if my salary was reduced by 1/5, I'd be fucked. Things like this aren't proposed to pass. They are proposed to start conversations about things. I like that it's allowing a debate about our insanity with work culture. No way in hell it passes. Not a chance. Just moving the Overton window. A person working 40 hours a week at min wage should be able to afford a one-bedroom apartment and at least one vacation a year. Do you agree? Why or why not? FDR, in my inaugural I laid down the simple proposition that nobody is going to starve in this country. It seems to me to be equally plain that no business which depends for existence on paying less than living wages to its workers has any right to continue in this country. If you work full-time, you should be able to at least afford the essentials: shelter, food, healthcare, clothing, etc. Considering that's why minimum wage laws were enacted in the first place for, yes. What exactly are you expecting to hear on response to this question? Yes. Every job deserves fair wages and benefits. Especially those jobs deemed essential during the pandemic. All that clapping for them but no pay raises. Complete BS. How do you feel about daylight savings time? Let's really shake up and shift the entire world clock 30 minutes to do half of DST permanently to compromise. The light issues are now half of what they were. Right? Now watch the chaos ensue. Tired, I feel tired. I don't care if we stay with DST or not. I just want to stop the time changes. Arizona keeps the state's time steady year-round. Why can't the rest of the country do the same? Just get rid of the whole stupid thing. Indiana didn't do it the whole time I was growing up. They then switched to East Coast daylight savings time. They did a study to see if any saving were made by the switch. There were none that people could point to. Should be scrapped, outdated bullshit. Time for it to end permanently. The reason it was created is no longer needed. How old are you and what's your biggest problem right now? 37 and I'm going blind. I don't know how long it will take, when I will be legally blind and unable to live my life with the richness, independence, and everything else I expected, but it's coming. It's a crushing inevitability. Every day that I get to see my loved ones' faces is a gift. 40s and I drink too much and need to lose weight. I only drank 3 times in February and I've increased my daily walks, so I'm working on it. 61F. Relationship heartache and likely to be let go at work. I'm too old for either of these when 6 years away from retirement. 29 all my bills are going up, but my paycheck is not. 49, I'm not interested in anything. 59 and my thoughts are consumed with losing my wife and best friend. I've loved her for 42 years. I want 42 more.